Well, I guess that's about as good a time as any to get started. Welcome everyone to Sunday Assembly in November, which it doesn't feel like November yet. Kind of, but not really. We're going to start out with a couple songs today that some of you probably know. Some of us know. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna do clapping today. If everyone's okay with that.
Clapping.
Yes, that's good.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast, be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can stop speaking up. No one's gonna hurt you the way the words do. They settle beneath your skin, kept on the inside with no sunlight. Sometimes the shadow wins. I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Everybody's been there. Everybody's been stared down by the enemy. Falling full of fear and doesn't disappear and bow down to the mighty. Don't run. Stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. And since your history of silence won't do you any good, did you think it would? Just let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Woo!
Things and change the patch on the keyboard. Oh, I think I'm changing the patch on the keyboard to make it do things. Kind of, sort of. No. Oh, I did it wrong. Shoot. Yeah, that's the bass. And then doing that. Yay! I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I sat quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. It held me down, but I got up. Already brushed
ground. You held me down, but I got up. Got ready 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I've got the eye of the tiger, the fighter, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than the lion. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. You're gonna hear me roar. Now I'm floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee in my stripes. I went from zero to my own hero. It held me down, but I got up. Already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. Like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I've got the eye of the tiger, the fighter, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than the lion. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. You're gonna hear me roar. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. You're gonna hear me roar. Roar, 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 roar. I've got the eye of the tiger, the fighter, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than the lion. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. You're gonna hear me roar. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. You're gonna hear me roar.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to Sunday Assembly, where we strive to live better, help often, and wonder more. We are very happy you're here with us today. We have a lot of great people here, and I'd love for you all to know each other, so why don't we take a minute to meet each other? And I'd like to pose an icebreaker question, if you will. What is your oldest possession, and why have you held on to it for so long? Discuss.
Give you a 12-pick. Hello,
What?
Robin. Give you a 12-pick.
Yeah.
It's there's my question can be interpreted that I want. It was old when I bought it, and I have always kept it.
So how would you interpret? Either way.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, for my respective timeline of life.
Oh.
Either way.
I have a Yellow Point gun by my grandfather.
Oh.
She loved all the shreds he forgets. It hangs on my wall every day when I walk out the door.
I'm not quite.
No. I was strapped behind and I feel like
Yeah.
Before I moved away to college. Unless it's like a lot. It doesn't have much meaning to it. I do have a clue. My clothes that are long from the 80s are long gone, but I do have a long, you wear a suit or something. I got that since 1986. I was graduating.
I can't think of what I've had the longest, but the oldest thing I have is,
I don't know why
I have a book,
especially not
The Complete Complexion.
Well, I mean,
The complete collection of writings by Josh Billings. It was printed in 1860, and I have it because he's a colleague of Mark Twain, but unlike Twain, he was more famous on the circuit, not for writing books. And I like him because he's not as well known.
Bookcase, 4 foot wide, 6 foot tall, bookcase. And I also carved an elephant out of a block of glass. Still have
when you're younger. I've got a bookcase I have these. Oh, Tammy. I made 2 bookcases. One, I did the family box.
Yeah. I think the oldest thing I can think of that I have the longest is I have a collection of stuff from
mine,
the July '69 moonlight, like the Chicago Tribune and some other life magazines.
I've got record album holder,
No
you know,
matter
a
how
spot
many
for
times
record
somebody
album.
says, my old stuff. That's one thing I won't do.
I use mine.
No, you don't. You don't. Let's just check. The archivist and the
not adjusted about there.
So was this, I'm just splitting single down.
yeah.
Birthday card, Christmas cards, and girls, I knew it. I just confused the heck out of it.
There's one box of stuff that every now and then I forget what it is. No, that is the absolute sacrosanct won't go away. Just a box of memorabilia. I just condensed it to one. But now that is untouchable. One
Balkans are spy.
Right, that's mine.
Are more aggressive and wild and untamed.
Okay, glad you got some time to discuss. We now have a reading from Ben Buckminster.
Truth is often paradoxical. To withhold truth is to bury gold. Not all truths should be told. He who finds a truth lights a torch. Half the truth is often a great lie. The cruelest lies are often told in silence. Whatever has been unhidden to human beings at any given time, as well as the manner of its unhiddenness, has to be transformed by education. In Greek, unhiddenness is called aletheia, a word we translate as truth. And for a long time now, truth has meant the agreement of the representation in thought with the thing in itself. We must understand, however, that formative education and truth come together into an essential unity. People live chained inside the cave, engrossed in what they immediately encounter. Those whose chains are removed now come a little nearer to what is true, and when one's gaze is fully freed from its capacity to shadows, it becomes possible of the person who has been freed to enter the sphere of that which is more unhidden. Someone who has been unshackled stands in the binding force and validity of their own form. By looking, we see what things themselves are. Only in this self-showing does the appearing thing become unhidden and accessible. The most unhidden shows itself in the whatness of a being. Without such a self-showing of the whatness, each and every specific thing, in fact, absolutely everything, would remain hidden. The most unhidden is so called because it is what appears antecedentally in everything that appears, and it makes whatever appears be accessible. Authentic liberation is the steadiness of being oriented toward that which appears in its visible form and which is the most unhidden in this appearing. Freedom exists only as the orientation that is structured in this way. Thus, the fulfillment of the essence of education can be achieved only in the region of and on the basis of the most unhidden. That is, the truest, that is, the truth in the proper sense. The essence of education is grounded in the essence of truth. Or, to borrow a simpler way of saying all of that from the internet, the truth resists simplicity.
Thank you, Ben. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker today, Robin Ryan, as she speaks about her experiences as a transgender woman.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sometimes one gets into a quandary when one has to do one's laundry. These denims, these gossamers, are they his or are they hers? Does one wear a blouse and skirt or Levi's and a cowboy shirt? For someone else, the problem is no easier. For what one is his or what one is hers. His, if his name is Reginald, Ralph, or Stu. Hers, if it's Sally, Grace, or Sue. We will always have to wonder if we've made a social blunder when we address them as dear sirs, for we might find out that they are hers. A few minutes after I was born, they took one look at baby Robin, checked off male on the birth certificate, and sent me on my way. If they looked deeper, they would have discovered that the truth was far more complicated. Spoiler alert, I turn out to be a transsexual. A lot of transsexual people put themselves through a lot of emotional distress, wondering, why did this happen to me? Eventually, I found the answer. And it was really simple. It was, why not you? Why not me? I made the mistake of being born into the Jehovah's Witnesses. This was a totally stupid move on my part. What was I thinking? I was told I was lucky because I was born into the only true Christian faith, and that all the others were lying to themselves or deluded or tricked. And wouldn't you know it, I was pretty good at being a Jehovah's Witness, even though I didn't really believe in any of it. But I went from door to door when I was old enough to do so and got lots and lots of doors slammed in my earnest young face. This made me develop a very thick skin and a stubbornness that sustains me to this day. And for that, I'm grateful. I never prayed. I never in my life felt the need to. Oh, I faked it a lot in Kingdom Hall. That's JW for church. And I worked at being a good witness. But there was something inherently pointless to me about the act of prayer. I was told what I believed, but I didn't believe that, and I was told I was male. Now, I had some evidence to that proposition, but deep down inside me, I knew that that was not my truth. And I didn't like these contradictions much. I found my escape in the library, in movies, and in books. In the Peter White Public Library, I found a book called Man Before Adam. After passing it by on the stacks multiple times as if it were dangerous or pornographic, I tentatively read it without checking it out over my summer break. This made sense to me, evolution stuff. The stuff I was listening to Kingdom Hall didn't. It seriously didn't. lions were vegetarians before the fall? Really? I was beginning a life full of questions, and questions weren't very welcome in Kingdom Hall. I loved going to the movies. As a family, we weren't rich, and what income we got had 10% or more taken right off the top. So I got myself a paper route to fund trips to the Delft Theater, where they showed kids' movies, and the Nordic Theater across the street, where they showed more mature fare. And even though I didn't necessarily understand what was happening on screen, I liked the Nordic better. It made me feel like an adult. I think I liked feeling like an adult because I didn't trust actual adults. They kept insisting on telling me things I knew weren't right. They told me that instead of playing with either Margaret or Cindy or either of the two Colleens I preferred being with, I should be playing with Dougie or Gus or Roy, but I didn't like boys. I liked girls. And I sort of lucked out being named Robin. There were girls named Robin, and I really liked that. And I hated being called Rob or Robbie. Both of my brothers and my sister teased me mercilessly for being effeminate, and I tried to butch myself up from time to time. But that felt profoundly unnatural to me, and whenever I tried to butch up, I found myself spiraling into depressions. It was a vicious circle to me. When I saw a re-release of Days of Wine and Roses at the Nordic Theater, I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. For those who've never seen this movie, it deals with alcoholism. I didn't understand any of this. But instead of looking to Kingdom Hall, I went to the Peter White Public Library and got my answers. I certainly wasn't going to listen to the old guys in Kingdom Hall because I knew their answers weren't going to be reliable. The answers I found in the library were far better than I ever found in Kingdom Hall. The movie Lilies of the Field taught me 2 things. First of all, Catholics, and Catholic nuns in particular, could be pretty cool. Catholics were something I was warned about in Kingdom Hall, what with their worshipping of the Pope and all. But Lilies gave me the first inklings of sexuality in the form of Sidney Poitier. And I left the theater thinking I had seen the most beautiful creature that had ever trod on the face of the earth. Tarzan and Hercules movies came next. Lots of Tarzan and Hercules. Boy, I love Tarzan and Hercules. Now, I may have disliked boys, but I loved men. I also liked Bianca. Bianca lived with my Aunt Rosie, who taught art at the local community college. Bianca was a beatnik and she played the viola. She had the Audrey Hepburn look down, which I liked. She liked me a lot too, and she let me listen to her records, which she had to special order from the record store, the classical avant-garde. According to our family, Aunt Rosie and Bianca were just friends. My Aunt Rosie died in 1979 of a heart attack, and Bianca, well, disappeared. It had never occurred to me that they were more than just friends. And I never figured out why Kingdom Hall never objected to them. I think maybe back then lesbianism might have been easier to get away with than male homosexuality, at least in Upper Michigan anyway. Also, being a JW kid, I was pulled out of class when the subject of sex education came up in high school. So where did I go to learn this stuff? Certainly wasn't Kingdom Hall. I went to the library, and learning the names of some of the thinks that I had been thinking, like homosexuality. Turned out there was a name for that. Who knew? Well, I did now. I also learned about transvestites and transsexuals. And unlike a lot of transgender people, I never experimented with cross-dressing. That just seemed pointless to me, a child's game. Homosexual, I could work with that. Transsexual, that one scared me to death. And when I found out what one had to do to transition, it wasn't difficult for me to dismiss that notion. That seemed like an impossible proposition. I told the wrong people I was gay, and it got back to my family. When I was confronted by Mom, as well as my older brother and a bunch of old dudes from Kingdom Hall, through my terror and confusion and my heart pounding in my ears, I made a leap of faith. Which is something that I, after having just realized that I was really an atheist, had a real difficult time doing. But I admitted it, and I told them that I was not only gay, but that I was an atheist, and that nothing they could do or say would change either of those things. And for telling them my truth, or what I believed was my truth at the time, I was disfellowshipped. That's witness speak for excommunicated. On May 31st, 1980, less than a year after my Aunt Rosie's death, I saw my biological family for the very last time. Luckily, I had had some money stashed away from part-time jobs at my old paper route. I called some friends who had moved out of state, emptied my bank account, hopped on the Greyhound bus, and left Upper Michigan. It was like a scene from a movie, actually, and I've not gone back since. I moved to Washington, D.C., got myself a job at the Martin Luther King Jr. Public Library, came out as a gay man, an atheist, and an AIDS activist. I even got arrested once. This is the very shirt that I got arrested in. Through AIDS activism, I met a great fellow from Minnesota whom I fell madly in love with, and we started living together, and I liked my life. But there was still something not quite right. It was that transsexual thing again. And again, I dismissed the notion from my head. May 7th, 1989, I was gay bashed. Badly. We're talking major hospitalization. I'm not going to go into the awful laundry list of what I survived. Spare you that. But it uncovered a deep character flaw in myself. It was a meanness that I'd never had before. One day during my 11-week stay in the hospital, a nun came into my room and asked me if there was something she could do for me. I told her she could drop dead. Oddly enough, I read that a hospitalized Madeline Murray O'Hare had once told a nun that very same thing once. I don't think she ever regretted it, but I know I sure did. DC soured on me. My assault was the second of 3 bashings in the area, and the DC police didn't seem inclined to investigate any of them. And through their apathy, the assailants were never caught. My partner suggested we move to Minnesota, and we did. And then, because the gay bashing had turned me into a hate-filled rage monster, he left me here, returning to DC, and I don't blame him. It took a long time for me to rebuild myself into a real human being again. Healing takes time. Sometimes it takes a decade, but heal I did. And once that happened, I wound up meeting the love of my life, Michael. And he's Catholic. In December of 1999, we started living together, and we were happy. We spent a decade as a gay male couple. And after our 10th anniversary, as much as I tried, I couldn't deny it any longer. I needed to become what I realized I'd been all along, a woman. During a long bout of depression and secretly talking with yet another therapist, this time about my gender identity, I wound up going to an endocrinologist. That's a hormone specialist. And what they discovered pulled the rug out from under my feet. I had a complete set of female reproductive organs, very atrophied, inside me. I was born with a medical condition called congenital adrenal hyperplasia. I was intersex, biologically both male and female. This condition happens about one in every 75,000 births. And when you think about how many people there are in the world, 1 in 75,000 is a lot of people. That was the final piece of the puzzle. Being disfellowshipped from the Jehovah's Witnesses, being outed, losing my biological family, being gay bashed, none of that was as difficult as telling the man I loved that I was transsexual and that I was going to transition. It was no longer a choice for me. And one Sunday in August, after Michael came home from his Catholic church, I told him everything, that I was going to transition from male to female, that I couldn't remain sane and not do this. And after I was done, he said, "I don't care. I love you." And since that day, he's been my biggest supporter, because that's what love does. Because I was lucky to have a unisex name, I kept that. I dropped my middle name entirely. And then I tracked down Bianca the Beatnik, who is still living in Coral Gables, Florida, and told her my story. And then I asked her if she minded that I took her last name. And she said, "Of course you can. You can be the daughter I never had." In comparison to most of my trans brothers and sisters, my transition was relatively easy. I didn't lose friends, or family, or housing, or employment, all of which is staggeringly common in the trans community. And after nearly 5 years of group therapy, hormone therapy, intense psychotherapy, legal hassles, and no less than 3 surgeries, the last one of which was on August 9th, 2012, I am the woman you see today, Robin Ryanini. I lost a family, but I upgraded. Michael's very Catholic family never batted an eye and accepted me exactly for who I am, because that's what family does. And we got married. I've become both a bride and now a wife. And finally, exactly the person I need to be. It wasn't an easy road. Whose life is an easy road? But what never left me were the lessons I learned when I was young. I didn't need God on my side. I didn't need any gods at all. All I needed was the knowledge to live my life, to find love, to figure out how to live my life, and how to own it. And with a lot of help, none of it divine, I finally did. Thank you so much for listening. It's been my pleasure.
And now we have to follow that. That's what happens when you visit your public library. Yeah, for most of us who go through a coming out experience, it can be a mixed bag, but it's usually kind of disorienting experience. And you go through a time of feeling not entirely on the ground, and in between worlds for a little bit of time. So yes, that's all I wanted to say about that. Because this song kind of addresses that.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom.
7, 6,
Commencing countdown, engines on.
3, 2,
Check ignition and may our love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You really made the grade. And the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the council if you dare. This I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in the most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do. Though I've passed 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still, and I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong, can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I sitting in a tin can, far above the moon? Planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do.
We had to try to sound effect in there, but it didn't work. There it is. There it is.
All right, due to some technical difficulties, we're going to be skipping one thing I do know this week. So we're going to skip right to the moment of mindfulness. And for those of us who are unfamiliar with the concept of mindfulness, I decided to get a description for you. Mindfulness is a state of active, open attention on the present. When you're mindful, you observe your thoughts and feelings from a distance without judging them good or bad. Instead of letting your life pass you by, mindfulness means living in the moment and awakening to experience. Please join me. Okay, thank you. First off, I had something prepared, but Robin's talk kind of threw that out the window. I just want to say, wow, I found it very touching. From my own life, I watched one of my very close friends transition over the last 2 years. And it's been very meaningful to watch her go through that. But hearing your story brings new perspective to it all as well. One thing that stood out to me was the concept of family. That's something that she has struggled with a lot. But I too in my own life have struggled with the concept of family. And I think defining family in whatever way you define it, finding your community, the people we have here, I think that's an important life lesson for all of us, is to find love where we can find it, because that really is the most important thing. So in that, I just say find love, find family, and I really took it that way, and I appreciate you for sharing your story and your journey. All right, so we have one more song. This too shall pass. Please welcome again. I thought that was after. Oh, apparently we're doing announcements now. I'm on top of things. That's okay. So yes, we have a calendar of events in your program in front of you. One of these is not listed in here though, so let's listen. We have Secular Family Night coming up this Friday, November 13th. It's going to be in Burnsville. You can find details of the program.
Yay, Burnsville!
Also, dinner and a movie is coming up a week from today. Looks like the movie has not been picked out yet, so head to Meetup to offer recommendations and find out details.
Facebook would be better, probably.
Well, then the program lies, go to Facebook. Okay. Then, on Tuesday, next Tuesday, we have Sunday Assembly Team Trivia, which is going to be at Pizza Luce on Franklin at
8:30 to 9 is when it starts.
8:30 to 9 is when it starts. And information for that can be found on
It's in the Facebook group.
in the Facebook group.
Yeah, so a good reason to join our Facebook group.
Yes. We'll get a little plug for that too. Then we have Wine with Ted, which is on Thursday, November 19th. That is at Matt and Aaron's house. We watch TED Talks and discuss. Then we have our second annual Thanksgiving Feast and Fun on the 22nd. That is going to be at Newell Park. It is in a building. It says
Yeah,
park,
thank
but
you.
there is an enclosed building. We will not be outdoors at the end of November. Yay. And then December 13th, we have our next Sunday Assembly gathering. So with that,
Hi. November 4th, we're serving a meal at Higher Ground.
oh, okay, Friday, November 4th, we're serving a meal at Higher Ground, which is a homeless shelter. What?
That's in the past.
December 4th, I think he probably means.
But time travel.
Well, the TARDIS isn't up today, so we'll meet up with Doctor Who.
December 4th.
Okay, December 4th, that's all right.
It's generally the first Friday of every month, except for January ends up being on the 1st, so we're gonna go a week out on that one.
Yeah, that'll be January 8th, I believe.
All right, January 8th also is happening. A couple more things. There is a pig on that back table here. Sunday Assembly is completely run by volunteers and it isn't free. So if you are able to donate, we definitely welcome and appreciate that, but no pressure whatsoever, just if you can, that'd be awesome. And then after the final song, which is gonna happen here soon, I promise, please stick around for coffee, cookies, tea, all of that fun stuff.
In conversation.
In conversation, yes,
Yeah,
talk please.
Thank you, Aaron.
Okay. Sunday Assembly Band, assemble! Okay. Let's do a lesson.
You can do the parts and just teach people the parts. Or just do it.
Just do it. Let's teach some parts. I feel like teaching parts today. All right. So we have a couple of different parts that go to the song. How many know the song to begin with? It might be easier. Almost everyone. Awesome. It helps when I don't have to teach people things. The first part is the ooze. Yeah. The first like layered part is the ooze, right?
We can start with that.
Yeah, let's start with that. So let's have this table. Let's have this table do the ooze. It goes.
Should we all do it together?
Let's do it all. Let's all do it together. Let's not put pressure on the back table. So it goes. So Anya will be doing that. So follow Anya. What's the next part?
Let it go.
Let it go. So this is the part that we will all do. It goes, let it go, this too shall pass. Everybody, let it go, this too shall pass. I think that's all we need, isn't it?
And you're gonna do the noise.
Yes, I'll ignore things that I do.
All right.
So the chorus is,
Oh, when the morning comes.
yeah. When the morning comes, when the morning comes,
When the morning comes.
so that'll be everyone else who's not this table.
Or you could sing whichever part of
Yes.
to you the most. Yeah.
Whatever the spirit moves, whatever that is. So follow Aaron and Hans for the chorus. Follow them, don't follow me, don't follow Anya. Unless you're that table, then follow Anya.
Clear? Yay! All right.
No, you can't keep letting it get you down, and you can't keep dragging the dead weight around. If it ain't all that much to lug around, you better run like hell when you hit the ground. When the morning comes, when the morning comes, you can't stop these kids from dancing what you want to, especially when you're already getting yours. 'Cause if your mind don't move and your knees don't bend, well, don't go blame the kids again. When the morning comes, okay, yeah. When the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes. Let it go. Let it go. This too shall pass. Let it go. This too shall pass. Keep going. Get you down. Shall pass. If it ain't that much to talk about, you can't let it get you down. When the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes, let it get you down. You can't keep letting it get you down. When the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes. All right, go and have cookies and drinks and beverages. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a tour quick. The Truman bombed the hell out of the Russians just in the war, scared no. Did Truman drop the bomb on the Russians to end the war and scare the hell out of the Russians? Discuss. There we go. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, I wasn't there, so. I don't
Oh, I don't either.
You guys didn't watch a second movie? You're saying. I hope I didn't initiate mass exodus. Hey there, mister.
That was going to work in the
Jared.
Hi, Jared. No, that's one question, but also before the press conference, I think there's some I'm not sure.
Players all